What up? Welcome to Emergent
I've
Behavior. So
indeed.
are we hosts? I don't know. Am I supposed to say I'm your host? Whatever. What's going on?
What's up? Was did you like a long week or a short week?
I think it's blasphemous that it's Friday. It feels like Monday. Should be Monday. Are you? You're. It feels like you're on potato internet again. Did you connect to the potato or did you?
Uh, my hard drive space is low because I think my sessions are going too long. It's eating up my my space.
This is a great segue. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm about to make it much worse with Burn because I'm recording everything. So all of your long running sessions, I'm going to make larger.
Yes, tell me about what you're working on.
All right, I forgot that was a segue. Yeah, so I think the big learning I think from the last couple of weeks has been that people are concerned about limits and spend, and I think the general sense is that we're currently on the gravy train from all the providers on in terms of these 5x, 10x, 20x plans that if they were charged by the API rate would be a $200 plan. I think if you max it out as like $5,000 or something, depending on what model you're using and everything. So yeah, I think that sparks some interest in just
Yeah.
understanding how token usage is distributed and on what and where there are inefficiencies. And so we made a package that does that across Codex and Claude and OpenCode, and pretty interesting results. I think I'm going to share them more broadly, but um, yeah, a lot of waste in at least in my token usage, uh, and areas of just like tool calls and Claude MD or Agents MD being reused in ways that shouldn't be, um, sort of eye opening in how it's used. There's a lot of music playing in the background. I'm going to turn it down.
Cut out. You said a lot of waste.
I was basically talking about you, and how you sometimes just don't listen to the things that I'm saying, and I feel validated.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Well, let's today. This is
I heard most of it.
so originally supposed to be a demo day. So do we have demos? You have a demo?
My computer's I just killed a few sessions, but it's still lagging. So I'm not sure
You know,
if I can do it.
I got this. I'll just run. I'll talk to myself. If you want to step out and restart and stuff, I got this.
Well, I mean, do you want a demo?
I don't. My demo's not ready.
um, it seems like it's better.
Maybe
Is it still slow?
I can hear you. No.
I think I'll do like a video demo. I did 3 demos this week that way, and
Yeah.
then I can, so I'll do it after this call. But the exciting thing that I got this week that I've been trying to get for a little while is just getting agents talking together in cloud via workflows and getting them to work with advanced workflows, like very simple workflows working, but advanced multi-agentic swarm techniques in the cloud are working as I want them to, and also multi-repository workflows. So if you have, like we have many repos that need to touch many different things, you can just push that to the cloud and it'll reconcile and you can pull it down, or you can make a pull request to each of those as you want. And so what I've been doing is like going to pick up my daughter and kick off a few in the cloud, and then overnight like kick off a few in the cloud, and then also like during the day have 5 running my computer, and then like 3 on the Mac Mini, and 4 on the other Mac Mini, and then 6 on the cloud. So there's a lot of concurrency. So the hardest part now is like keeping track of like what was that, like what what is this, what is that. So what I've been doing is making GitHub issues to track like what is this, what needs to happen after XYZ, so that I can go to the issue from the LLM that says like this is what we did, this is the information about it. So that could live in Notion or Linear or whatever, but I've used GitHub issues because the agent knows that well. So I've been doing a lot of different types of workflows. I've been coordinating work in different ways. Workflow is the main one I've been using for the past 4 weeks. But then I've also gotten back to desktop apps, which I did last week. And so using Codex, OpenCode, Claude, and having them spin up an agent team to actually write the workflow or discuss the approach or discuss the spec, like research. So basically using Codex, Claude as sub-agents, but they're actual real agents. Then they go in and investigate and then write the spec, and then they like coordinate to write the workflow. Then I kick that off to the actual workflow. Or if it's like I'm digging into something to figure out like how things are working or how things should work, I'll spin up agent and have them also spin up a Codex agent to discuss those things. And so it's worked well. And so different types of tasks require different types of work streams, and workflows aren't the answer for everything. And sometimes a single agent even that's like, okay, this is the approach, this is what I want to do. And then I'm like, okay, we'll spawn a Codex agent to talk it through and make sure that's the right approach. And then, go from there. So yeah, that's been the demo.
Where do you, talking about the Codex, Claude Desktop, Code Desktop, do you see that as the future of software development, like in applications like those, or where do you see that going? Give me a 6-month view.
I think the new IDE will be some kind of desktop app like Codex or Claude. And the obvious is with a cloud connection that you can start the work on your desktop and then overnight have cloud run swarms of teams that are like orchestrating different work that you want to do that's maybe more complicated, or even just like routines of like, we talk about this, like it's doing maintenance on the code base or writing rules or running automated tests. So that's coordinated all in the cloud. And then you could also have like deeper features worked on that you have to spec that you wrote during the day. So I think like during the day, it really should be like you're writing spec and like deploying to production and like verifying production. And then the background, you're having concurrent tasks of like actually executing those. But the focus for me, I think, is just like writing spec to figure out how things should work, and then overnight, like actually implementing that and then repeat.
So sort of intuitively, based on what you're saying, it seems like that's a single developer. Like, what does that work look like in a team of 5, or do teams of 5 no longer exist?
I think it's teams of 2 or 3. And the other, I think it's like it could be, I mean, I think the collaboration is interesting because it could go to a few different ways, but from a product, I think it's heavily coordinating with the engineer, or it can be a product engineer. And then there's like levels of that. I think there's a very like high level, like this is when we want to be in 2 months type of role. And there's a like, okay, this is when we get done in the next 3 weeks. And there's like this is 6 months. And then like collaborating and figuring out some way to actually bring that together in a cohesive way. Because if you're building with a timeline of 2 weeks in mind, it's much different than building a timeline of 6 months or 2 months. So getting that to meet somewhere with the right architecture because you could be very easy to just like put it all down and it's like slop, and you don't really have a good foundation to build something that has a larger vision for 4 months down the line.
Yeah. But so take me through, like, you were sort of walking through, during the day you're writing specs, and then at night there's sort of this execution phase. Are specs sort of a collaborative effort with sort of a
Yeah.
another human?
Yeah, I think it's another human. Well, I think it's the initial spec is probably like investigation or spike, if you will, with multiple agents or a single agent, whatever. And then the spec is the review artifact, and then from there it's just executed.
It's interesting. So I came from a much larger team. Obviously, it's just the two of us now, but and there was all the sort of pomp and circumstance and ceremony around sprint reviews, and with the sort of hypothesis that executing engineering time is the most expensive. So like, let's do everything we can to make sure that we build the right thing, and we only build it once. And I think that dynamic has changed. Now when I'm starting out on a product, like, I actually think I would prefer to have a solo conversation with Codex or Claude to like help me extract the core principle, or like validate the core principle of ideas in my head, before ever getting to the embarrassing human who's going to sort of judge me for my ideas, right? Like, I think for me, I'm talking now for me personally, there's been like sort of a context switch. But then I also, maybe without understanding the why fully yet, I agree that like human collaboration is going to be a key part of this. But it's hard not to see, and I think even the way that we're working today, the defaults certainly lead to much more communication between the agents than the humans.
Yeah, because I mean, I wonder how that would change if we were in the same room.
Sure.
But the type of collaboration we're doing is tangentially related, but it's not deep collaboration.
Yeah.
Like I'm using some of the tools you're building and primitives, and also and vice versa.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're collaborating on the primitives themselves necessarily, but we're using the same building blocks.
Anytime we have, it's like collisions, right? Like there's merge conflicts, there's slight differences in trajectories that like cause drift, right? You have two slightly similar ways to do the same underlying problem solve.
Yeah.
And we can't be the only ones. Like, I think it's really interesting to me the speed at which you can work then becomes the problem, or the albatross.
Yeah.
Whereas before you didn't really, in the old way, let's call it the pre-2024 way of development, that was never a concern, because you spent so much time thinking about what exactly am I going to build? Okay, all these people signed off on that. The decisions were much smaller. They were, do I have a switch case or an if statement, right? Like, it wasn't.
But is it agents communicating more? Like, we don't have, our agents could communicate, but we don't really have them communicate that much. Is that solution? Because I've figuring out this problem is something a lot of people are thinking about. And I think you read the GitHub post where they're talking about like how they're in like a IDE that's also chat with agents, and the browser with a sandbox all like in one. Is that it? I don't know, but people are thinking about this, and at large companies, because it is something that I think is prevalent.
It seems transient to me. I feel the future very clearly is going to be the execution phase is 0. So like what you referred to and when I said 6 months, I think this is why I said it this way, but like, things run at night, things run in the cloud, you come back to it, you're writing specs. I think we're not too far away from, you write the specs and it appears, right? Like, as you're writing the spec, it is becoming clear to you, the product is being built. And so that world becomes really interesting, in that I think you do need, and it's less about the code at that point, but you do need agents to communicate with, but also humans, because humans are always going to be the best translators from human behavior to business requirements or constraints and expectations. And the agents will always be better soon at writing the code and keeping it organized and executing it.
Yeah.
And so building processes that focus on that, I think are going to be really critical. And again, I mean, obviously Agent Relay, I think, is the mesh network behind all of that. That's, I think, what we're going for. But the why, that's why I believe that is, because I think that's the future.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'm going to think about is that like a user of Agent Relay wouldn't care about a workflow necessarily. They just know that they want to write a spec and it's implemented 100%.
Yeah.
So what I've been thinking is that like we have a workflow expert that is like, they just write the spec and they just say like run spec, and then that turns into a workflow behind the scenes, gets implemented by multi-agents, and then they just like download the code or like sync it, have a PR appear. So like they're not writing the workflow, they're just like sending it to the cloud and boom, it's like done whenever it's done.
Yeah, and workflows feel really important to me. And now I'm talking about Agent Relay workflows, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Workflows feel really important because they are, if LLMs are completely non-deterministic, they are that middle layer where you can add determinism, you can add rails, that you can do actual engineering. And maybe the LLMs are actually pretty good at generating those deterministic rails. And so you're able to paint those constraints and expectations as a human and repeat it. Whereas, and I think people see this all the time writing Agents MD or, any sort of skill-based rules with LLMs, like 95% of the time it gets it right, but that 5% is actually really important. And so like, can you add the rails to prevent, in the case that 5% happens, it's correct. So like correctness is the number one important thing. And I think we're getting closer on that. And then secondarily, I think is a cost optimization, as we mentioned in the beginning, like if execution goes to zero, there's a certain cost to that. And then if you can make it cheaper, there's business value in that. So using specialized agents, using, specific rules, monitoring token count, adding determinism where you don't need LLMs or like a huge GPU to fabricate it.
Yeah. I think that 5% is going to be what separates the men from the boys or the women from the girls, because that's going to be like where you can differentiate, and that will be a huge 5% gap that it can close hopefully. And as we talked about, like that 80% done to 100% done and fully tested and working and then fully vetted, that relieves the human of a lot of time with like clicking, checking, like, going through the mundane work of actually verifying what the agent did and de-slopping the work. Yeah.
Again, all of these workflows are human-centered, and we just need to get to that agent-centered workflow where the human focuses on the human behavior-ish parts. We should start a company that's focused on this. I think that would be, seems like we're aligned.
I think so. Sounds right. I think,
what are you doing next week? Anything cool?
No, I'm just going to catch up on some rest and relax.
Weird. Well, I'm going to San Francisco.
All right. That's cool. What are you going to do?
Well, there's people I'm going to see, some people I'm definitely not going to see. Going to Stripe sessions. Obviously, the reason we planned the trip.
Yeah. The anchor of this trip is Stripe sessions. Yep. There's another event you sent too, right? I think
I've sent a few, but yeah, I think we'll go try to meet as many people as we can. Go to some meetups, hangouts, and then obviously spend some time collaborating in the same room with a whiteboard and fulfill our monthly co-located whiteboarding exercise requirement.
Do we have to find a whiteboard or what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they have whiteboards in San Francisco. Let me Google it. Yeah, they do. They have whiteboards there. So.
Okay. I mean, do they have Mac Minis there too? Because I'm thinking if we get a third.
They may have.
Some people have 3 kids.
So I upgraded Barry to my Open Cloud Barry to a Hermes.
And yes.
Agent, and I think it's better. Candid. He's out of line. He's commenting on every PR now.
So is he better? Because
he's more agentic. He has more agency. I'll give him that.
But also, are you using GPT?
No, he is powered by one of the Olama models. I switch it pretty frequently.
Interesting. How can I use GPT?
Most recently, he's on Kimi K2.
You can, Claude is back in with agents like this assistants, right?
Yeah, I'm trying, to expand my mind horizons to some of the open source models just to see the differences. From a coding perspective, he's actually pretty good. From a review perspective, he's awful. Just like really, just performative is what I think I said earlier. Reviews where it's just kind of a regurgitation of what the pull request is, and then any comments are nitpicking. It's interesting because Copilot I would say is like a C if it's a letter grade. Devin is probably like an A-. Like I feel more comfortable merging PRs after Devin has reviewed them.
Add in Codex too. What do you think about Codex?
I haven't seen Codex review any of mine. I have Copilot, the sort of GitHub native.
Copilot, yeah, it's like a waste. I feel like
it's always like you forgot to update this comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Whereas I do think Devin has meaningful, like, this is going to break type comments. It's like, oh yeah, that would. Or if it gives an approval, I feel more confident.
Yeah, I mean, I think Devin's actually probably saved us quite a few iterations.
Yeah, for sure. But abrupt ending here, but we're way over on time. We're supposed to be 15 minutes. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're 7 minutes over. It's not way over.
I mean, that's half. It's 1.5.
Yeah, I gotta do this demo.
All right, demoed up.
Thank you. Adios.
Later. Me when I was younger. All right. I guess I'll just. He always accuses me of not, working. This is work. I'm work right now.